There it is. It's Sunday. It's 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to be honest, you know what's funny? We don't even really go by Eastern Standard Time anymore because we live in Mountain Time.
I know. You never switched over like online when telling people things. You keep it EST.
Because
I always thought was funny.
no one ever thinks about Mountain Time. I never thought about Mountain Time. It sounds like it's made up. It's just like mountain people making up their own, like, what time do you think it is? I don't know. I see the way the sun's glimmering off the cattle is like it must be noon. I don't know. This week,
the way your brain works and thinks of things sometimes.
It's magical.
Okay.
Magical? Is that what you were going to say?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. So this week, I'll tell you where my brain took me this week. This was a lot this week. It was a lot of stuff going on in school between the ghost story preparation or presentations. Then all of a sudden the next day I decide, oh, hey, all we have to do is set up some obstacles and we can have a real life odyssey for the students.
I know. I like that you didn't really tell me that ahead of time, but like that morning you're like, okay, I need some help. And I'm like, today's my laundry day because I'm backed up because I didn't do it on my laundry day. Like,
always dreaming.
I was like, okay.
So that's what the newsletter is based on this week. So if you want to check that out, if you're not a part of our newsletter yet, if you go to our website, which is getting updated soon, we got the first version of it this week. Not soon. All right. So I probably shouldn't say anything. The newsletter will come out probably tomorrow morning.
Let's backtrack. There's a link on the website that says a newsletter.
Oh, yeah.
You can sign up for the newsletter there if you choose to.
Thank goodness for you. Because I just come up with ideas. I just start saying
running
stuff.
And gunning.
Yeah, there we go. So that was hectic. But I wanted to say too, one of the things that's been on my mind, we haven't even really talked about this. Season 1 was a wrap this week. We did a recap for the rules to engagement. So that season 1 came out. We had a recap where we just kind of all talked about like all the guests that have been on. And it's really been making me think about who would I want to have on season 2. Thank you, sir. Hey, Brody, real quick. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
What's something that stood out to you last week in school that we did in my class? Can you kneel down so people can see it? Just, you can see yourself on that over there, but you're looking at that camera.
Yeah. Last week, what did we do last week? Was that the week when we did campfire stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And definitely the best thing that we did so far in this year. That was definitely the best thing.
Do you think everybody liked it?
Yes.
Except for that one hiccup and then the class that we will not mention.
Yep. I think everyone liked it besides that one moment.
Yeah. Did you know that Brody was hyping it up all day?
I did. I heard. Yeah.
Brody was telling everyone, like, what were you saying to all the kids?
I was like, aren't you guys excited to see what's going on in Mr. Reynolds' class?
I love when Brody refers to me as Mr. Reynolds also.
I don't call him anything else. I just call him Mr. Reynolds.
You know what your sister calls me?
Mr. Dad.
Mr. Dad.
Yeah. Oh, that's cute.
Awesome. Hey, man. Thanks, buddy. I love you.
No problem.
Thanks for bringing me coffee.
Bye, Leighton. Hope you're enjoying the live stream.
He's probably on it.
Actually, I haven't seen him on here yet.
He's
there he is. He said hi, Brody.
Oh, he said hi, Brody. So what I'm wondering about, if you wouldn't mind putting in the chat, and I hasten to do this because my wife is going to be like, there's so much happening that makes it hard to find questions, but I want to ask anyway. Is there if there's no one that's off limits, is there an educational hero that you have that you would love to either meet or hear from? I find that a lot of my educational heroes, there's just not enough stuff out about them. There's a guy that I adore, Albert Cullum, who was a teacher in the 50s and 60s, who there's a short documentary that you can barely find anywhere about him. I have it on DVD. But like, what is it that is there someone that you just wish the rest of the world knew about, or that you maybe a little bit more, we'll say it selfishly or like self-serving, like you wish you could hear more from? That's what I would love to know, because I'm compiling this information so I can start to bring it back. Chris Emden is 100%. Chris Emden is going to be a part of the Knowledge Con in LA. Oh. He's going to be there speaking. And on a panel too.
Ruth, you should get your school to pay for Knowledge Con.
Knowledge Con is going to be fire. I don't talk about it enough. It is Martin Luther King Jr. weekend, in January 2026, and it is going to be remarkable. And it's going to be so intimate, designed like that, so you can meet all the presenters that come. So like if you want to meet like Principal Akbar, who's been on Oprah, who's been on Ellen DeGeneres show, like you can meet him one-on-one. Like these engagements will be able to happen. All right, go ahead.
All right, real
I'm
fast.
done talking.
Marcus just said that he has 2 wins to share. He did an escape room as a final preparation for his test. Super hit. Everyone came to me and told me they loved it, even the cool guys. That's a win when you know the cool guys are coming to you and saying,
yeah.
And the test went extremely well. The hooks that he's been implementing from TLAP have been working super well.
For those that don't know, TLAP is Teach Like a Pirate. And it is the book that I recommend to educators. If you're trying to build student engagement, it's the go-to book. And I don't just say that because Dave's a friend of mine. It's really like, there's a reason Dave's a friend of mine, because this book is like, because he's awesome.
He's a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah.
Because his book's awesome. Okay, we're going to start off with Ruth. Ruth, thanks so much for your super chat. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Ruth.
Ruth's question is, I've been working on procedures with one class and having difficulty with behaviors. 8th grade parents not supportive. How can I support students who want to learn?
I have an answer. I'm processing. This is one of those questions, Ruth, that like, depending on the situation and what it's looking like, how would I handle it?
Like, I wonder, what do you need in parent support? Like, is it that they complete homework? Is it that you need extra things from kids for projects in class?
I think
it sounds procedures.
I'm going to tell you this about parent support, Ruth. Let me start there. When I have it, it's great. When I don't, I just don't factor it in. I don't think it plays that big of a role because parents are going to they're going to all of a sudden not necessarily be supportive. Like if I think about folks that I had like that, for whatever reason, right? I'm not going to sit here and list all the reasons that parents like aren't supportive. Sometimes it's because you're a single mom and you have 5 kids and you're trying to work too much. And like, now I'm supposed to look at grades or have like a call in the middle of the day with the teacher about a vocab test. There's a whole lot of reasons, and it's not even worth my trying to figure out or judge whether or not those reasons are valid or not. I'm not you. Like, I'm not the parent, so I have no idea. What I do know is that it's either going to be a help or it's nothing at all, and it still falls back on me. And as a matter of fact, both times it falls back on me, because the kid could be saying one thing to the parent and the parent's not in school. So like, how do they know? And so that I don't even factor that in really. What I'm looking for is help from my administration, help from, because when we have students that want to learn and we're trying to implement policies, procedures, routines, rhythms in our classroom, one, we have to be uber consistent with them. But that really means I have to be a person of integrity. And I think this is where a lot of teachers get lost. So again, this is like one of those things I'm going to speak to. I'm not really sure where you're landing on this right now because I'm not in your classroom and we're not like necessarily having a conversation. So like if I'm missing the mark, you can please let me know. But being a person of integrity means showing up every day and doing things that you said you were going to do. So if I say that there's a timer on the board and we have to have the pre-class done in this amount of time, I really have to be a person of integrity and hold that up, unless I find that we're vibing with this thing. So last week I had a timer and I called kids out. Like what I did was like, I went around to a couple of kids that I felt like needed a little bit extra time and told them that they like, hey, listen, I'm going to call everyone on the timer. Keep going. I know you got started late, or I know it took a little bit longer to get started writing because you're thinking about something. Keep going. Everyone else had just stopped. If I tell someone, if you do that again, you're going to get put out, like that's it. I really have to do it. I can't go, now look, I told you, I'm going to give you one more chance. And if you do it again, no, bro, it's a wrap. Because, and to be honest, the only time I'm ever putting students out is if I feel like I cannot handle them in this time. They need a conversation, they need redirection, or they need a check-in that I do not have the time to do in my class because I have too many other students and too many things going on. And I'm not willing to jeopardize the class for a single individual, right? I need somebody else. I need outside help to check in with this individual and see what's going on. Because a lot of times that stuff can just get rectified and you just come right back to class. So I am looking for administrative help at that point. But I really find that the integral piece is everything. It's be what you say you're going to be. Do what you say you're going to do. And then hold kids accountable to a high level. And then a lot of those behaviors go away.
Yeah. So it was all, they're like really disrespectful to each other, like in the classroom.
And so those I find here, now here's where I am willing to slow the ride, right? So the train's moving. And if you're not on time, you're missing the train, right? This is why I use timers. This is why I hold kids accountable to being in class all the time. Because if you're late, that's on you, bro. And the train's already moving. But I will sometimes slow the train so that we are all on the same page. And what I mean by that is if we're out of pocket and we're being disrespectful to one another, right? It is, to me, slowing down so that one time I had a student who's on the spectrum. We called him Don't Smile Kyle. And Kyle was getting made fun of really bad in class. So I send Kyle on an imagination run where like I had this folder that I told him had top secret documents in it. He had to go run it to Miss King. Miss King would then send him to this next teacher. So they would keep sending him around the school, buying me time to have a conversation with my class. This is something I did all the time. With that being said, when Kyle left, I let everyone know, listen, I don't need to go into my man's situation, but I'm going to tell you right now, he's off limits. Going forward, you do not make fun of him for any reason, or you're going to have to deal with me, and I'm going to make a big deal out of it. I'm talking your mom's coming up, your grandmom's coming up, the principal's showing up, the superintendent's going to be in the meeting. Like, we're going to have an all-out conversation about this because it's just not happening. And then other times it's not so like in that threatening vibe, right? But it's more like, let's stop for a moment. Let's remember that class needs to be a safe place. And why? Because we only share our ideas, we only share our questions when we feel like it's not going to be met with someone yelling you're stupid, yelling that that's dumb, yelling like cursing at someone. So moving forward, that language is not allowed for that reason, because this is a place where we give respect and get respect. If you're not doing that, you got to go figure that out before you can come back into class, right? We're going to send you out to get that figured out. And I'm not, let me be very clear. When I send kids out of class, I'm not just putting my problems on someone else. I'm following up with the person I sent them out to and with the student before they ever come back into my class. I'm not just like trying to get rid of my issue to someone else. But so to be honest, especially with, I talk to a lot of administrators that think like, well, all folks are doing is shipping their problems to somewhere else. No, I'm actually making more work for myself, because now I got to write it up. I got to contact home. I got to talk to whoever I sent them out to. I got to talk to the kid. I got to make sure everyone's on the same page, like before they come back into the classroom. And I got to talk to my class about why I sent someone out. Right? This is a lot more work for me. So it's not so simple as like, that's it. You're doing that. Get out of my class. Like, no, it's a pain in the butt. And so I want to make sure that I am meeting those student needs and making sure kids, like, my brain just went, I just completely blanked what I was saying right there. And I was on a tear. But that's how I handle it. The end.
Oh boy.
Man, I don't know what happened there.
I don't know either. Did you glitch?
God said, move on, bro.
Right. Okay, we're going to go next to Marcus asking, and this is a little story he's got to give you a backstory.
We got to hurry up because this guy has to go to bed.
I know. He said it's late there. He said on Friday we had a teacher that works at our school who was subbing in Swedish class.
Swedish class.
I know, I love it. When one of the boys came in, she said, "Ugh, not you." She did not say this as a joke. He obviously said some things back, but he didn't really get into too much trouble, luckily. Anyways, he came in straight to me and told me. I said it was unacceptable and that I would talk to her. I called his dad in the evening and he was angry. He asked to talk to the principal. I said, that's a good idea. I haven't had time to talk to the teacher yet, but I will tomorrow. I will also talk to the principal. How would you handle this?
So this to me is one, I'm talking to the student and I'm telling the student that, one, I'm so glad you came to me. I'm thrilled that we're going to work through this and not just like, you didn't just try and have a fight. It's maybe, look, I think one of the hardest things about this, Marcus, is how do you talk to a young person about how to handle an adult who doesn't know how to handle themselves? So do you push back? Do you stay quiet because you're a kid and it's the teacher? Like, how do we navigate that? If I was that kid and I walked in and that teacher said something, I'd say, let them know that you're going to your class, to Marcus's class right now. I'm not even staying in the room, right? This is like, there's no way this ends well. And I'm not being talked to like that. So I'll immediately take myself out of that class if you're comfortable with that. So there needs to be some sort of like, what did we call the other day? I'm blanking on the name.
It's not the right thing. I said we were talking about behavioral intervention plans, but a procedure.
But basically that, right?
Yeah.
So, and then I would talk to the principal first. I would tell the principal before I called home because I want the principal to know what's coming so they can be ready for that. And then they might want to call home, right? I don't want things to be going. I don't want to talk to the kid. So the kids first, right? Education is only about students. I'm meeting with the kid first. I'm then touching base with admin, letting them know what went down. And I talked to the student already. And then saying like, hey, I'm willing to call home and talk to dad. I'm even willing to have this conversation with the teacher, but that's more of an administrative situation. And part of that, Marcus, is because you want that to be like noted somewhere, right? Like, is this a sub that we want to keep bringing back? Can someone check in with that sub? I don't know if they were having a bad day or what, but like that is out of pocket and shouldn't be done. So that's how I would kind of start that. But it's what you're doing there. And what I hope you see is that you've built this know, like, and trust factor with this young person, that they came to you after this problem happened. And that is no small feat, right? Because snitches get stitches, and at least here in the US. And so it's a big thing about ratting people out. And but what kids miss in that mindset, right? Which is, I understand why it exists. I still think that is not, it doesn't serve you though. It doesn't serve anyone really. That idea, it's at least in the school setting, is you telling me that there was this issue. You're not sure how to solve it. We're going to work together. So I'm going to coach you through this. So by telling me, you're actually going to get better. You're actually going to handle things better going forward. And you realize that you're a part of a team that cares. And so that's a huge deal that young person came to. So very simply, that's how I would handle it. The kid, the admin, and then based on what admin says, do I talk to the parent and to the teacher?
So Marcus is saying, he said that the kid told his dad and the dad texted him, which is why he spoke to him before he got a chance to speak to the admin.
Which is also why I would go to admin first, because then what you don't want is ultimately the principal feeling like they weren't kept on the front end of this. Like it should have been a right away, I'm going to admin and having this conversation.
So he's asking like, what should I say when I talk to the teacher and the principal? I think I would lead with saying the principal, like kind of apologizing for not keeping them in the loop right away. Like you should have went to them like probably before the school day ended, or
and letting them know going forward, I'll absolutely come to you. But here's what happened the other day. And And I think it's that. And then just letting them know what's going on. And
How
then
would you talk to the teacher?
I wouldn't yet. I would, if I was going to, I would just say, so one, I'm asking the principal if I should even talk to the teacher. Two, if I'm talking to a teacher about something like that, I'm entering into it with curiosity instead of condemnation, because I don't know what really went down. I wasn't there. So there's, because
so you're kind of asking, you're going to ask the teacher for their side, like, hey, what happened? This is what, so and so came to me and said this.
Remember that
you
time
kind of explain what
that
happened?
Taz threw a pencil at a kid in school, and
the teacher
threw a pencil at a student, and he was like, there was this ongoing joke of like how bad he was at sports that year or something like that. He was Reynolds. So the pencil ends up, he throws it. The kid was turned around. He tried to like throw it to get his attention. It ended up hitting the student. But when the student turned around, it caught him on the edge of his eye, right? And he was bleeding. And the teacher that I knew, so the kid calls his mom, the guy gets in trouble for this. And when I went to talk to him as a friend about this, I knew that, like, one, I'm never going to condone, I'm never going to condone talking that way to a student. I'm never going to condone like throwing a pencil at a student. But what I didn't want to do is go in and be like, dude, how could you do that? Or that was so out of pocket. Or what were you thinking? Or we don't do that to students. It was, hey man, what happened the other day? Like I heard from the students, I heard from the principal. It's everyone knows about it. What happened? That builds a conversation that you can have, because sometimes I'll tell you what, people think that what they're doing is okay. And it allows you to build that conversation with them so that they realize that like, there's a better way around this. There's another way to handle this. There's like, it builds a more full and understanding conversation than just blaming people. And once folks talk it out, it's easier to speak back to what they're saying to help them understand or to help them grow than it is if you just go and try and school somebody. Like I've like never seen that work. So
I know it really doesn't, like, ever, but that's our first human reaction.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly is mine.
It's so foolish.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Our next.
Good work though, Marcus. Taking care of that. It's time for bed now.
Yes, go to bed. Not now that your brain is going and thinking about all this stuff for tomorrow.
There's a Swedish class.
I know. All right, we're gonna jump around to channel
Swedish.
members, and then we'll
Swedish.
get through everybody else. So Taylor's asking, thinking about how to sprinkle a little magic onto a basic skit project over the American Revolution. Last year, 8th grade was we've done this sort of thing before, just looking to level up. Any suggestions?
So my friend, Hip Hughes, told me about a project last year that I'm going to do this year with, I don't know what book yet. Because I have a tendency to try and put all the cool things in a single unit. And then that unit, like I've learned in the past that those units end up taking too long. So I try and do like 1 or 2 cool things per unit and not 17 cool things. So Hip Hughes used to have his students make short documentaries. So what I'm thinking about, what I'm going to do this year is make TikToks that will not be public, right? So they're just like private facing, they're unlisted or whatever, but you can use these making free editing software called CapCut or whatever. You can use iMovie, doesn't really matter, but you're making short. So you think of your skit, you're going to record it instead of having kids act it out. And by recording it, they're going to be able to dial in their words. They're going to be able to do it not around everyone else. There could be costume pieces involved. They can put music over it. They can use fun edits. They can make it, if they want to make it seem like it's a newsreel. There's free news music on there. There's news graphics. There's lower thirds that pop up. So having kids do that and then creating a day in class. Here's my idea, is creating a day in class where I'm going to, and this is super extra, enter at your own risk, where I'm going to have like a red carpet and like some velvet ropes, and you're going to come into class and get a ticket, and we're going to set it up like it's this whole, like we're at the Cannes Film Festival or something, and it's like everyone's presenting their video, give a little blurb about it, like the director would stand up before the Cannes Film Festival. I think this is what they do, never been there, but they stand up, they give like a little blurb about this is what you're about to watch, and then we watch it, and then people have feedback, or they clap, or they write something about it, whatever. But that's what I'm thinking we're going to do this year. I think that you'll get a whole lot more buy-in too from kids that are reluctant to act out a skit in front of class and now are instead doing it in recorded form. And this is something you can give them time to work on in class. But for my students, because everyone lives close enough, I'm going to have them do it outside of school so that they are, unless they need costume pieces, which I have in school, everything else will be done outside of school so that they can do it like they're, as they mess around, and it also helps kids to get together outside of school, which I think is a big deal, and they don't do.
Not enough for sure. Okay, Tristan is.
I'd love to know how that works out, though. Please follow up.
Tristan is up next asking, it's a few-parter.
Yep.
So one of my classes is made up entirely of weaker students. Someone suggested I drop my usual quiz/test format and instead do 2 separate tests, each covering just one chapter. This would reduce how much they need to recall for each test, but I'm worried it won't prepare them for the
cumulative.
Thank you. It's
Gotcha.
like my tongue doesn't work for that word. I could read it. For the cumulative final exam, which still covers. I'm nervous about pushing back. If I don't get a good evaluation this year, I won't be allowed to teach it in the Providence. Just trying to do what's best for them without risking my job.
All right.
Thoughts?
First of all, please go ahead.
As just a mom of kids that have like different learning needs, I think I'm interested to hear what you're going to say, but I wanted to put mine out there because I'm not the technical expert in being an educator, but I do have kids that have special needs, or learning differences. And I think that makes sense to me. I think it's easier to remember things in small chunks. And yeah, I actually don't like that some of my teachers my kids' teachers currently give very large test loads. And it's much harder for my students or my kids to remember that because of their different learning styles. So I like that idea, but what are your thoughts?
So I just had this conversation with Brody, and we didn't talk about this. So I gave them a vocab quiz on Friday, and they now have so each week's vocab words grow, right? So it's like first week I should have started with 5, for whatever reason I started with 6. Then I did another 5 last week. This week they'll get another 5. So they'll have 16 words on this week's vocab quiz. And I asked Brody, I said, I'm going to let you take this quiz the way that it is and see how you do. I then said, would it be easier for you if I split? So like the first part of the quiz is very straightforward. It's like the word on one side of the paper, definition on the other, and they have to match the word and definition together. If they remember that, then on the back end, they're going to be able to fill in the blank sentences. And that's all my quizzes right now. It'll grow as the year goes on and change. But I'm trying to get kids used to the rhythm of this. They'll fill in those blanks with words, but they'll know what the word is based if they knew what the definition was on the front. So with that, I asked Brody if he wants me to kind of split things in 2 and then have a word bank for each section. So it'd be like you have the matching part is split in half and the sentence part is split in half. And he told me that he doesn't need it. He said it's just for him. I said, so what would help you do better? And he did great on the test. I think he had a 96. But I said, what is going to help you going forward? And he said, really, it's all the review that we do during the week. We review every day. That is helping him. And learning how to learn is helping him. So what I would say,
here's a couple follow-ups.
Tristan, is
he said there's a midterm and a final exam. Working them into getting ready for the midterm and exam is what I'm hoping to do.
Here's what I would do.
Quiz is usually a check-in. He said my tests are 2 chapters. That doesn't seem unreasonable, 2 chapters. No,
but you know how long they are too. Yeah. And so what it is for me, it's asking students what might help them, not what's going to make it easier, right? That framing is that's what we don't want to frame. Is what would help you, and then run the play. See, like maybe split it into two and see if that helps. It might not help. They might still not do that well. And then it's, are we studying? How are we studying? So I had a kid this week, failed 2 vocab quizzes in a row, even failed my one, or almost failed the one that was only 5 words. So what I did this week was, even though we were doing like all the review games in class, I saw they were still struggling with that as well. So what I did this week was I literally sat down with them with their note cards that they made in class, and I made clues, like we made ways to remember it, right? So the word ponderous is based on the word ponder, which is like when you're pondering something, it's usually like a heavy thought or idea. Ponderous meaning heavy, bulky, something of that degree. So I was trying to give clues in the word guile. Guile sounds like smile, and smile is that sneaky look that you have on your face when you're like curling your mustache when you are trying to get away with something, when you're a bad guy. And so guile rhymes with smile, and smile is something that you do when you're up to no good, right? So you're trying to use that trickiness, trying to create these little connections for this one kid that I sat down with. Now, maybe that's something you want to do. Maybe it's something that you're trying to help them figure out how to not just hold all this information in their head, but how they're going to create a story out of it, how they're going to create an acronym that's going to help them remember something. But what we're doing there, I think that, Tristan, the really important thing here is you're teaching kids how they learn. You're helping them figure out how do they learn best. And once they unlock that secret, it is game on for the rest of their lives. And so that's what I was talking to this one young man in my class about, was like, listen, I know you might feel, and because I could see it on his face, he felt like he had to be babied through this. And I'm like, no. Everybody else might learn different, but you might learn different. And I know that in college, I knew that I learned different. All we got to do is help you unlock the key to what is your way of learning. It's clearly not sitting here and just listening to it. It's clearly not through gamification, but like, can it be little tricks of the mind to help you remember stuff? And so he's going to retake his assessment on Monday. I told him I'd grade it right away. We're going to then look at going forward. If I have to sit there and do that with him for every single note card for every single week, then that's what I'm going to do, is like help him figure out these little ways to make these connections. So what I would do in short is, yes, split it in two and see if it works. Talk to your students about what they think might help, and then scale that over time. So then over time, instead of having 2 different assessments, you're going to make one a little bit longer and maybe one a little bit shorter until they both kind of like merge together. And then you'll get there with your students, because once they know how to learn, it won't matter how long the assessment is, I don't think, unless they have like an IEP or there's something like that you need to be taking into consideration. But it's really just helping kids how to learn.
Okay, next up is Heather. Heather is a 2-parter asking, I have been subbing, but I think I might get a new job, not where I am subbing. The kids have had a sub for over a month now, and this is a class required for graduation, and only 1.5. Wait, is that part of that? Yeah.
And only one. Or wait, and I am feeling, skip the and only one.
Oh, in this class, they're required for graduation, and I am feeling a little stressed out about spending the time needed to build connections and yet still cover the content. Such a reduced time this semester. Suggestions?
Heather, let me just first note, that's a heavy load put on you. The fact that you are a sub and you're covering a class that they need for graduation is something that the school should be taking into account, and not giving to someone who is basically like an hourly employee. That's a lot on you to do that. I wouldn't feel responsible. Like, maybe you're the only person that they could get. I don't really, and I don't say that with any sort of disrespect. It's like sometimes I know subs are not easy to come by. And once I started subbing last year, I got called for subbing all the time. But some of the other subs are tough. Like, they're just like not Awesome. So I think I can see why they would give that to you, right? And that's an honor that they would, but it's also like, if you're, here's just my thoughts on this. I wouldn't quit because you think you're doing the students a disservice, because the school already put you in a tough spot. You're doing the best that you can to be a sub and to build relationships and to create content that is engaging enough or meaningful enough or good enough so that kids are going to learn this skill that they need to graduate from school. Is like, they're asking too much. I'm going to tell you right now. It's not saying that it can't be done. It's just like, it's ridiculous that they're asking for it to be done. I wouldn't quit because of that, because look, they might not have somebody else, right? So if the option is you, or like, we're going to get a bunch of randos and different days of the week, that's not the reason I would quit. Because I also wouldn't attach my self-worth to whether or not these students are graduating. I'm doing the best I can over here. But if you find that it is stressing you out, then you're a sub. By all means, go somewhere else. I honestly think the more I think about education, unless you are at a school that is, you can't leave for some reason, like you're contractually obligated. So like in Philly, if you're at a public school and you just quit mid-year without giving notice and you go to a charter school, you're blacklisted in the city of Philadelphia. I have friends that have had that happen. That's King happened to her. Other than that, I think maybe it's because I've just been teaching too long, and because I've just taught under poor administration for too long. I'm not staying at schools anymore that I don't like. No school's perfect, but I'm not teaching under poor leadership, or in situations that make me feel that stressed out. I don't think that's where God's calling me to be. I don't think that's not my mission. If it was for a while, and that's why I stayed there. But like, teaching doesn't have to be hard. I hear all these horror stories, and it's like, if you can, go to another school. Like, don't stay there if it sucks. And because it's not going to get better because you try harder. It is, I'm not interested in that battle. So if you're really, really struggling with that, if it's affecting your well-being, then by all means go somewhere else. Because guess what? There's kids everywhere. And there's kids that I've met here that I knew instantly. I say this all the time, that I just knew, oh, you're why I'm here. Like these are I found my crew of like, this is why I'm here. And
even at a school that's so wildly different from West Philly, like
way different,
from like way over here to way over here on the spectrum.
But there's always meets, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's why I'm there.
Yeah. Okay. Rachel is up next. She said, "Hi, CJ. I was fired on Friday due to under-enrollment." Do you remember her having a lot of like issues and stuff because they had under-enrollment?
Yeah.
So she was wearing like a million hats. She said, "They are only keeping one single subject teacher. I cannot stop thinking about my kids and how they are going to take this change. Any advice?"
Oh my gosh. Wow.
She said she kind of doesn't even know.
See that come in. So one, oh my gosh.
I'm trying to find her other comment. I should have started.
One, I want to say, I'm going to say, gosh, sometimes these are like, God, if I was just having the conversation, it would be so much different, but I'm not. I hope that you understand that if this was an under-enrollment situation, it was not about you, it was about the school. So, because I know I would most certainly be beating myself up about this. So I'm giving you advice I would give to myself. Please don't beat yourself up about it. It had nothing to do with you and had everything to do with this under-enrollment situation. Two, with regards to students, I would ask administration if I could come to the school and talk to kids and let them know what's going on. If I couldn't, I would make a video and post it on YouTube. Anyone with a Google account can make a YouTube video. It's not like you're not special to do it. and it doesn't cost anything. Post an unlisted video to YouTube and send the link to your admin, right? So if they don't want you coming into the school for whatever reason, it's like just having a quick video of like, hey, this is, this is what, like, this is Miss Robinson. I didn't leave because I had to, because I had to, because I wanted to. Situations that were larger than me caused me to not be able to be there anymore. And I hope that you know that I care about you and want the best for you and things of that nature. And like reminding them. So what you're doing is sending them off with something that's like reminding them of who's still there, of what they can do for help. That's where I would go with that. And then it is.
Right. One of the things she commented and said,
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to feel or even what to do now.
I'm going to say, look, this is practical advice, even if you're not a person of faith. So I don't know what your faith background is, but I'm going to say it like this. I'm going to say right now that what God has for you, no one can take away from you. So that if a job disappeared and you had a job and you loved the students and you enjoyed being at the school, that something else is going to come up, right? And I tell you this very, very practically. Every single time I've changed schools, it's been a better situation than I had before.
But it
I'm
did
gonna
not
say the
come
students
without
weren't
any heartache of
No.
like all of
I
those
cried
questions,
when I left Camden.
all those feelings.
When I left Isa and Romina's
I know.
class in Camden, I cried in front of the students. When I left Boys Latin, it crushed me. But each time I found that the students aren't better. It's just that same goodness and connection.
Still need things.
And my situation at those schools, at every school I've been to, at all three schools, has been better. So there's something better waiting for me. And what I know now is that I think what's happening in all of this, I think what God is working out in our lives in real time, is that everything that happens in your life is cross-training if you pay attention to it. So now you know what it's like to be at a school with a really small staff that's under attended, that you have to wear 79 different hats in the school. And now when you go, so when I was in Camden and I had to teach all this different stuff and I was involved in all these different things, and I felt obligated to be a part of all this stuff because if it was going to happen, it had to fall on me. And the days were super long. We started at 7:20, didn't get done till 4:30 every day. And then I would lead stuff after school. It was like when I got to Philly, one, I had a classroom with windows, which was unbelievable, right, in and of itself. Two, I only taught 2 different preps a day, so I didn't have to prep for 6 different things a day, plus after school program. It was just 2 things a day. And I remember people would come in and complain about it, and I felt like me and some other vets that taught around the city, we'd look at each other, like Therese and I'd be like, dude, these people are crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this is so much better than what we came from. It's like you've been through something, use that now to help you find a better job, to help you have more insight into an institution, to ask questions like, yo, how many preps are y'all trying to do? How long is your school day? What is absolutely required of me as a professional here, right? Like, is it how many preps, how many duties? Am I here on Saturday school? Like, we used to have Saturday school in Philly all the time. And so now I don't have to do that kind of stuff anymore. It is, you will find the beauty in the new thing that will, because of where you came from. And so it's being mindful of that too, and looking expectantly for what is coming up. When the Bible talks about pray like your prayers have already been answered, I'm looking, I know that God gives me the desires of my heart. I pray over them, and then I look for those things expectantly in my life. And if you need more help than that, please just shoot me an email and ask me any questions, and I am.
Rachel, I want to remind you, don't listen to that little voice in there that's filling you with negative, because if you're a woman of faith, like, we know what that is. We know that is just trying to derail you and distract you.
Absolutely.
And so don't listen to it.
Yeah.
Which is hard, right? But fill yourself up with, I don't know, sermons, worship music, goodness, things that you're grateful for. People,
you got time?
Like
go
places,
to coffee
things.
with people.
Yeah.
You can't afford coffee anymore. Have someone take you to coffee.
Yes.
Make them feel bad.
No,
I'm just saying. I'm just kidding about that.
All right. Up next is Logan asking, Where can I find the classroom management blueprint book?
Right at shopteacherclassoff.com is the guide. Yeah, that's what I have right now.
What do you mean the guide?
So it's like the workbook, right?
Yeah, it's a PDF workbook. It's a
Yeah.
digital download. There's not a physical book for that.
No,
like,
the plan is to make a
maybe
book,
one
but bro, I'll tell you what. Going back to teaching this year, it's literally one of those decisions where I was like, oh, it's a sweet. All I have to do is this. And then I look at all my old stuff and I'm like, this is all garbage. Like, it was just like, not
Or
garbage. It was just like,
you had different kids that you were teaching, right?
Yeah.
I think that was a big eye opener of this. You had a lot of lower level students that really needed things broken down, and you made simpler things.
well, there was a
where
lot
they were
more
at
ask
their
of me too. So it was
level.
like creating so much stuff I couldn't make it look as cool as I could or make it as fun as I could. Like,
Well, there's a
I
lot of
still did
behavior
fun.
issues. There's a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff that's
And
like
now
coming
I'm
in
finding
and impacting.
that I can just like, I don't want to do that. I want to do it better.
Yeah.
And it's just taking so much time,
Well, and we do everything else. Like, we make the blueprints, we do the newsletter, we do everything. And it's so funny because our website is getting redone, and we've said this for a long time, but our designer is also dealing with health issues that it's delayed it. But we got our first look at our homepage setup, and I was
Oof.
like, holy crap, we do a lot of stuff. Like, we don't have a hub for it. Our website is not a
No.
hub for it.
And we
now,
no longer
so
employ anyone. It's just us two.
it will be
doing
very interesting, like,
So anyway,
as we grow.
no excuses, but
We
I'm
can
just
do
letting
more.
you know.
Maybe it'll be a book one day, but right now resources are at shopteacherclassoff.com.
Shopteacherclassoff.com. We need a jingle.
No, we don't. Nobody
I
needs
think
this
we
to have a
did.
jingle. Okay, Sean is up next asking, how do you walk around class during a typical period? After a few laps and interactions with each table, I don't want to linger too long.
Bro, this is such a good question.
It is.
One thing I'm going to say, Sean, here's something we haven't talked about.
You linger
When
from
your sneakers squeak.
Do you have squeaky sneakers?
Yeah, man, those green Adidas that I have, the green and white ones, I can't wear them to school.
Oh.
They squeak like they need WD-40, bro. And even these Nikes I'm rocking, they all
They
squeak.
squeak?
Yeah, so that's part of the reason I play music in the classroom
I was
too.
gonna
is
say,
'cause,
it's
like,
too quiet. You don't have enough kids with behavioral issues in your class.
I find that when I'm not engaged with students, or at least walking around, I think some of this is like past trauma from other classes I've taught, but I feel like someone's not doing their work. Someone's going to fall off. Someone's falling asleep. Someone's not understanding, right? So I almost don't know what the heck to do with myself in those moments. So what I started doing last week was, all right, I'm going to get something done like grading, and I'll tell kids, hey, listen, I checked in with all y'all. If you have a question, if you need help, just check in with me. And I'm grading your assignments right now. Like, I'm grading your quizzes. I'm grading the stories you wrote last week. Just let me know. And I find, Sean, that's more a me thing than it is a them thing. But what I don't want to do is make noise, and I don't want to be separate, right? So like my teacher desk in Philly, if some of my classes were on the smaller side, my desk was in the back always. It's still in the back. But what I want to do is, like, I'll take my papers over and sit amongst students so that I'm a presence felt, and we're also kind of doing work together. And I like that more than like I'm sitting in the front, because I think just my proximity throws off a vibe that, like, I don't know, kids know that I'm there. They know that I'm close. They know if they have a question or if they're screwing around, I can call them out on it real quick without yelling across the room. Or, it just is a different feel that works. And so, yeah, I have that same issue, man. I was just thinking about that last week. I like when kids are doing stuff quietly, like they were reading the Odyssey last week on their own. I didn't know what the heck to do with
I was
myself.
just going to say, I remember you coming home and going, I gotta figure out what to do while kids are like working. Like, you haven't had, it's always been like having to make sure everybody was on point, like so much checking in when you're at an inner city school.
And I have more kids. I have smaller classes now. So you walk around a class of 30, you can just keep going, I guess.
Right.
And I had carpet in my room. Now I'm literally the squeaky wheel that is just like moving around the classroom, squeaking all over the place. Like, having a hard time not making a joke or like doing something silly.
You definitely need to fix the squeaking of your shoes.
Yeah.
Setting this was such an issue.
I know. I'm just going to start wearing socks.
All right.
You know, Joel Witter used to do that.
No, that's so weird. Just teaching socks.
Joel Witter would come in the class to teach his classes. We shared a classroom. I'd sit at my desk, and when he was getting ready, the kids knew he was ready. He would slip his shoes off and walk around class in his socks.
That's so weird.
So one day I laughed at him. I go, Witter, I look at his socks and I look at him. I go, you were homeschooled, weren't you? And he goes, my whole life. And I go, yep. And I just, it's like, this makes like, this is the most hippie thing ever, be walking around in the class in socks. I'm like, how do you discipline a kid in socks? Bro, do I look like I'm messing around? Kind of. You got alligators on your feet right now, walking around with no socks on.
Oh, that's so true. Okay, moving on. Laura is up next. Hi, Laura. She's asking, what would be your best tips for maintaining a professional front when you strongly disagreeing with a student's case manager? I like to think I give grace to all and treat others fairly, but she and I just can't see eye to eye on what's best for the student. That is hard. As a parent that has had, my kids have had IEPs, both of my kids have IEPs. I think I would defer to the parent. Like, honestly, like, it depends on the situation, I guess. But sometimes I think I would defer to the parent and ask them, like, how do they want this handled? They know their child best, right? Like, yeah. I feel like I've had a lot of teachers that disagree with our case managers, but just never said anything, which was horrible because then I felt like I had nobody in my corner. Like, as the parent and the teacher would agree, the case manager wanted something completely different or didn't agree. And it was like, they almost couldn't fight the case manager because of retaliation. Like, they're on the same side, not so much.
The parent is?
No, like the parent and the teacher are on the same side, but really, ultimately, they're employed. The teacher is employed by the school, so they're on
that
school
drives
side.
me nuts. So for that, and that is not where Laura's coming from, but I will say, just because I want to, that drives me crazy, and teachers have to have more courage and speak up for kids. If we're talking about education, it's only ever about students, and parents and teachers need to stick together if they're together and speak truth against the school, because what the school's trying to do a lot of times in those situations is cover their butt, man. They're trying to not have legal issues. So it's not about the student, it's about them. And I'm not interested in them. I don't care what your problem is. I don't care your limited resources. I don't care your limited funding. Make it happen, bro. So in our case, when my fifth grader was on a kindergarten reading level, I don't care what your problem is. You're not doing this. Make it happen. It's like taking my car to the mechanic and they're like, well, look, we're out of fan belts. Bro, I don't care. Like, if I'm paying for it, make a fan belt. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Go burn some rubber and melt it down and mold it. Like, make it happen, Captain. So
But their disagreement is on what's best for the student.
So for Laura, what I'm thinking is, if I have a trusted administrator, I'm going to them. If I have a trusted head of special education, I'm going to them. So I've had tons of like caseworkers / co-teachers I didn't agree with. And like when Yonk was in charge, I would just go to Yonk. When Tennant was there, I would go to Tennant, Dr. Tennant, the principal. So I had people to go to. I think touching base with the parent helps too. And I'm going to tell you that I don't recommend this, but I'll tell you that I did it anyway. Because one, you do want to protect yourself legally. Like, if you're just like, if you're supposed to be doing something and you're not doing it, it's only you. What are you going to do with that, right? You're just going to get yourself in trouble. But I have had kids that I know they had they had issues like processing data, and they had working memory issues. And I remember one year I had this young man, and we were doing the declamations, right? So they had to memorize a certain like extensive chunk of Shakespeare. So I want you to think of Brody doing this.
I know.
Right?
I always argued with you.
15 to 30 lines of Shakespeare. And this kid's mom told me he couldn't do it. He told me his mom said he didn't have to do it. The caseworker said he can't do it. And I said, we're doing it anyway. And we did it. And I said, it's for a grade, but you need something to do every day in class. So I just like found a fun way. And I'd be like, let's just practice this. Like, and I just made it like into a fun little thing. And when I tell you my man did it, and then I told everybody that we did, I'm like, we need to rethink what's going on with this young man, because I'm telling you right now, my man pulled this off, and I couldn't be more proud. He was all proud of himself and stuff like that. And I got in trouble for it, but it was by being in there with him, I just got the sense that there was more here, that we could do more. And I'm not trying to, I think what happens sometimes, and we've seen this with our own son, people try and hold them to that caliber, but they're not seeing it in Brody. They're just making it up because it's easier for the teacher to be like, nope, you have to do it this way. This is how we do it in class. I'm not rewriting the lesson plan for you. I saw something in that kid that showed me, no, you could do this. Yeah. And he did it. And so
Laura saying, she says, I feel I know the student best between the two of us. I'm with the student all day. The case manager, swings by just for a few minutes each day. I think it depends on the specifics of the situation, which I understand you can't say here. But yeah, if I were a teacher in a classroom, I would just kind of do what's best for the student and what the student needs. Because it's like, I don't know which side you're on, not side, but like, is it the case manager saying they don't need this and you're like, no, they need this? Or is it the case manager saying do something this way and you're like, no, they don't need that? Like, which one is it?
Kind of depends on that too, right? So like,
right.
If I'm Brody's old teacher, she knows Brody's dyslexic. The school refuses to accept the fact that he's dyslexic, even though we've gotten documentation and had all the testing done, had the advocate come in, all the stuff. And they're like, no. And the teacher's like, yeah, I see that he does need something like Orton Gillingham. As a teacher, I'm never stopping pushing. I'll go to the school board if I have to. I'm doing whatever I have to do to make sure that happens. Now, look, I also don't want to lose my job because my kids got to eat and need healthcare and things of that nature. And no one's child is more important than mine. But that being said, Laura, I don't care who doesn't like me if what I'm doing is trying to be the best for kids. And like, again, I say this, I feel like I'm caveating with this a lot today, but like, if I knew the specific situation, it would be,
that's a little tougher one, but it's always on the error. Both of us err on the side of like, do what's best for kids. You can still disagree and be kind.
Yes.
And keep your emotions under control, like, right? Those things. But
what's my homie Leighton have to say?
Okay, Leighton's asking.
Leighton is a student at my school. He is not my student, but he hangs out with my daughter, and I see him all the time. So he
loves Sunday Night Teacher Talk.
He does.
He's asking, do you think banning phones is a good idea? Phones are something that will always be a part of life. So don't you think they should teach students how to use them as a tool, or should they be removed? The problem with. So, all right, let's talk about why they're removed first. I think there's two big concerns with phones. One is a safety concern, and I'm sure you've seen this in class. I know that there's students in the school that have done this, where you're recording people sneakily. You're taking pictures of things that you shouldn't be taking pictures of. And I'm not talking about like something bad that's like, oh, good thing we have footage of that teacher doing something out of pocket, but like, it is teachers and students getting put online then, or their pictures shared or turned into memes, that is making school an unsafe place. So that is one thing that absolutely happens. And maybe not so much at our school, but I've definitely seen that happen. The other thing is, and that matches with the fact that it's a safety concern. Kids give too much information away about their schools with the phones, like the layout of the school and things of that nature. So it's definitely can be a safety concern. The other thing is it's an addiction concern, Leighton, that people are absolutely, myself included, addicted to their phones. You constantly, without thinking about it, just pull out your phone. I have 30 seconds while I'm waiting for the microwave, checking my Instagram. What? I was just like 3 minutes ago. I know nothing new came, like nothing that new happened. It is, these platforms are built to suck you into them. And then it's usually a lot of either brain rot or making you feel bad about yourself. Now, I have trained the algorithm largely to give me stuff that's
feeding me, right? Like I am learning spiritually about my business, about school, about things of that nature. But even with that, it's a rabbit hole. And kids are addicted, and then they end up going on their phones instead of paying attention. And there's a myth that I think young people still believe, as most adults do, that you can multitask. But the data would show us that multitasking is a myth and that you cannot do it. You cannot be on your phone scrolling and you're fully listening. It is called paying attention for a reason. You're paying with your attention. And so that's very important to remember. Now, I don't think unless you have something on your phone that is actually going to help you learn, and a teacher knows, so for dyslexic students, they might have an app called Speechify, which is going to help them by creating a text-to-speech component for anyone so if you scan the page, it will read anything that you have on there. So that students that struggle with dyslexia, students that might be visually impaired, are going to grasp that. I think there's some apps like that, but even that, bro, I'm going to say, I think teachers use apps as time fillers and as ways to get out of teaching and try and use it as ways to just get their kids to do something. They're not using it for what it was intended to be used for, which is a tool. They're using it as a substitute for teaching. So it's like, oh, just go and book it for the period. And it's like, bro, come on, use that as a tool. Now, that being said, I think there's a huge opportunity here for ChatGPT to be a tool in classrooms. And that is something that's available on your phone. But I don't think anyone really understands it to the degree at which they need to understand it, not even adults, and definitely not school leaders, because they're blocking it on all these school computers instead of that becoming something that teaches students in a huge way, and it becomes a huge asset for schools. I think that every school should have a pro plan for ChatGPT that they are gifting, that's mandatory for all teachers to have, because it will make your whole life better.
I do think, Leighton, that phones should be banned also during the school day, because I think that kids need to still develop the social skills to be able to communicate with one another, and that the phones just kind of block that. It blocks that a lot. You need to learn those social skills, and you're only with kids in school, right? They don't even hang out outside of school anymore. A ton of when we were kids, that's what we did. We hung out with other kids outside.
When we were kids.
We hung outside. And so you were still developing those skills. But school is the only place that kids hang out with each other, unless you're on a sport or something of that nature. But
now I will say, though, when all those homies came over for Marley's birthday party, there was only one student that was on their phone.
Yes, I was pretty impressed.
So by and large, they don't do that. But I used to make fun of kids in Philly.
Yes.
We go places. I'm like, bro, what are y'all on your phone? You're all sitting here. They're literally texting one another. I'm like, you're sitting right in front of somebody. How about you look them in the face and tell them, use your mouth.
Right.
So that's why I'm down to have that conversation, even a larger conversation about that. But I think also, Leighton, because a lot of schools have either laptops or iPads, there's nothing that's not available on those devices that one would need their phone for as well.
Yeah.
So it would be beautiful if we could use phones, but block certain apps even during the day too, or texting one.
All right, let's try and get through a couple more.
Hit it.
Port is saying,
Port Cannon?
Yes. Please remind me what class of jobs you use. Do all students in each class have a job?
No. So I will hopefully get to that, but right now Jacob's my trash man, because I have a little baby trash can in my classroom. I can't find a bigger one. So he dumps my trash after each period, or I'll have someone different do that.
Feels like that fast?
Daisy was my assistant, but Daisy has missed a lot of school lately. So Isabel was the assistant of the assistant. So right now Isabel is takes care of administrative stuff that I need done. If I need copies made, if I need things organized, if I need things stapled, she takes care of all of it. Shay is my collector. I have Shay and Brody that collect things for me. And then I have Reese and Hannah are my hander-outers.
Mars your vibe person.
Mars in charge of vibes. So she comes in, makes sure that all my lamps are on, my diffuser's on every morning when she comes into class. She's also in charge of turning all that stuff off at night. And then I have various kids like do cleaning things for me. So if we write on desks, sometimes it comes off really well. Sometimes it doesn't come off really well. Sometimes I need my boards cleaned. I need, if we're doing a big project, like when we did the room transformation, I had kids help me at the end of the day, clean stuff up. But that's like, those are audibles that I'm just calling like as class is going on. So some kids have jobs, but I don't do anything official. Like I don't have like certain things. I will move into that. I used to give out job applications to kids. I used to interview kids, have more formalized situation. I just have not had the capacity to do that yet. But I still don't do a lot of things. My thing, as I say all the time, if someone else can do it, I don't do it. I try to only stick to things that, like, I have to teach. I have to grade certain things. I have to input grades. I don't have to, anybody with that can like manipulate a towel and some spray can clean the board. So why am I doing it?
Wow. David Marsh says that I have a sanitation engineer that makes sure everything is clean and ready for the next class.
That's Layton's
awesome.
hating on his sister. Yeah, Shay is in charge of collecting things.
No, that's funny. It's just
Hashtag reboot Daisy, Layton.
Sanitation engineer. I just
Do you know that's the saying in school right now?
I know.
I love
Okay. Moving on. We're going to go to John's, and I'm skipping to your second question.
Cool. I'm going to sneeze in a second, but go ahead.
Oh, thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
John says, I have a very bright girl in 2 of my classes. She is a leader and a girl of faith, yet for some reason she gives me low-key attitude almost all the time. I don't need to be her favorite teacher or anything like that. I'm just getting in my head and it bothers me more than it should. I have gone out of my way to be kind to her. Advice. On the parent advice, I like cutting you off. So,
yeah.
Parent advice, man, teenagers are just teenagery. Like,
talk about
our daughter is teenagery right now. Like, sorry if you're listening, Mar, but she is teenagery right now. Everything's like, like they're just, or attitude for no reason. Like, things are fine. I just think I don't think they realize that they do it. So I had to like.
What about Brody? In my class, what's been happening?
Bro gives CJ tons of attitude. Kind of talks to him like he's dumb or like very Napoleon Dynamite, if you get that reference.
Gosh.
Right? Like,
so stupid. But he doesn't call me stupid. But the other day in class, and I'm putting you on blast, bro.
Know that he's doing it though.
Yeah, so
but that's to me is the bigger thing. It's like maybe go say to the girl, like, do you even know that you're doing this? There's a tone, like it's there. I can't kind of get around it. I had to do that to our daughter the other day. She was being snippy in the morning and I was like, we were just trying to help her and I had to like point out, I said, do you realize that like you're the one that's running late in the morning and we're just trying to help move you along or help you? I said, and you're getting really kind of snippy or rude. And she was like, what? I am? And I was like, yeah, you are. And she was like, just apologize. And then just shifted. Right. And I think they're just teenagers and sometimes they don't know. So it's like, don't get too far.
I think it's have the conversation, let them know. And as a person of faith, it's like reminding them that, you know, as the song says, they'll know we are Christians by our love. And so it is, but reminding people that like, hey, I'm noticing this is going on and I'm curious if there's anything I'm doing that might be like causing this. And that right there doesn't blame them. You're not shaming them. You're entering in with curiosity to ask what might be happening here so that I know that if I'm the problem, I'm certainly going to do something about it. But you also might find out that something's going on in their life that they didn't know that they were doing it. You know, there could be 1,000 different pieces there, but I would absolutely have the conversation, especially if it's bothering you. I think that, John, I've said this before, but our lives, the success in anything on your life is so largely connected to your ability to willingly have uncomfortable conversations. So if it's bothering you, then it's worth talking about.
I'm just laughing at this question of, I have a different one that I want to go to,
yeah.
but that one made me laugh. Real fast, let's do just two more. Real estate is saying, how would you deal with a student when a student shares an old mugshot photo of you? This is an interesting scenario.
I'm gonna tell you, it's one I couldn't handle seriously. It's like, like I would just be like, I know, look, and gosh, my hair wasn't even done for that picture or something like that. Like,
handle it with humor, or you handle it as a teaching lesson. Like, don't be embarrassed about something, but say like,
it's better than a wanted picture. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just like I think that it is reminding kids of like, one, first of all,
you're human.
Y'all don't
Teachers
even
are
know.
human.
I lived a whole life before I got here.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, we're living full lives out there. And that situation is not something I'm ashamed about. It's something I grew from. Like, you only get this person, you only get to be me, this version of me, which I like because I went through all of that stuff. So by no means do you get anywhere in life to any level of greatness without being unscathed. It just has never happened in the history of forever. So, yep, let that be an example to that. Y'all could end up in prison at some point too. Y'all could end up in a broken marriage. You could also end up with all kinds, like in bankruptcy, losing your house, being evicted, whatever, right? It does not define you. What are you going to do with this situation? Because I'll tell y'all right now that Batman had a traumatic childhood, and so did the Joker. One became a hero and the other became a villain. Y'all get to decide. I'm telling you right now, I went through that stuff and I became the hero of my life instead of a villain. So I look at that as like yep, that's what I came from. The end.
All right.
I'd probably frame it and put it on my wall.
Okay, let's move on. Mandy's asking, how are you dealing with 6'7"?
All right. 6'7".
Someone in the comments, I just want to say, she uses that as a way to get attention. She calls out 6, the students call out 7. I said,
see, the end.
She goes, and then they just think I'm cool because I let them do it.
Or you're dumb and you're an unk and you're ruining it, right? It's like when you...
Either way, it's still funny.
It is. I would either lean into it, or I talk to kids about the fact that I'm like, you guys realize this is literally... in a world of dumb memes, it is the dumbest meme. So, and I would just say it like on purpose. I'm not kidding. I just might this week while I'm in the hallway, in between classes, just yell out 6 and see who says 7.
Yeah.
It's like saying Marco Polo. They
right?
can't even help themselves. They just say it and do it. Like,
this is so true.
It is. Yeah.
I think
Jacob
laugh
says
with them and have fun.
Jacob says it all the time.
Oh, does he?
He'll be like,
Our
I'll be
kids
like,
say
we're
it.
on page
Did
29.
something
Are we
the
on?
other day.
You mean 67? No. And then I look at him, I go, I don't know on what number line you think 29 is close to that, but it is absolutely not. Like, and then he just looks at me like I didn't get the joke, and I'm just like, because I look at him with like genuine concern.
Which is also just humorous.
We are at the rate at which memes move, it's going to be gone in a moment. It's like those people at the
annoying one will pop up soon.
It's the people at the Coldplay concert that thought their whole lives were ruined forever. Bro, no one's even talking about you anymore.
I mean, their lives did get kind of ruined from that one.
Yeah, but come on. They screwed up too. But that's not what I'm talking about.
Culture moves fast.
No one's talking about that anymore. No one remembers those people because that crazy lady at the Phillies game with the baseball, like
the Karen.
I saw a meme that had the people at the Coldplay concert that were like, this is their favorite thing that ever happened. They're so thankful for that lady because everyone stopped talking about them. It's literally Jimmy Kimmel away from no one's talking about you anymore. So now everyone's talking about Jimmy Kimmel, not talking about the lady at the Phillies game. It's going to be like...
Eventually it'll move on.
It'll just move on.
But for now, I think it's a good one, right? At least there's nothing inappropriate about it. It's not like...
Yeah,
there's some weird TikTok trends that like damaged school property.
When kids were stealing toilets and fire extinguishers and desks.
If the worst you're dealing with is someone they're 6'7" and we're laughing about it, it's like it's not that bad. Just roll with it.
Yeah, I think that's
at least that's
how I choose to look at it.
All right, last question.
Yeah,
is our buddy John saying, "Would you mind taking us through your daily schedule?" The reason I ask because a great teacher like you is not just who you are on the clock.
So my daily schedule right now on my best days.
I feel like our daily schedule is a little bit difficult because we're balancing two things. We're like balancing running a business and your teaching. And those are two very full-time things.
So at the moment, it is something to this regard, without going hour by hour, just real quick, like get up in the morning. Right now I'm trying to get up at 5. The goal is to start getting up at about 4:30. Because I'm learning that that's my best hours of the day, right? Like doing stuff after school is not getting the best of me. But all I do at night is watch TV and eat ice cream. Yeah, so we're not even hanging out. So it's like I'd rather just get up early and use it. So get up at 5 right now. Spend about 50 minutes praying, reading the Bible, doing that sort of like spiritual work is my first thing that I'm doing. Then from 6 to 7:30, I get ready for school really fast. From 6 to 7:30, I am working on whatever new thing we're working on. So if it's a resource, if it's a talk I'm giving, if it's a new workshop we're working on right now, that's what I'm doing in that hour and a half. Then it is schoolwork. Come home from school and immediately jump back into business work, like content creation for the day. Usually I make a smoothie real quick. I talk to my wife, give her a quick download of the day. I jump right back into work. The family dinner at night, and then work till about 8 o'clock right now because I'm going to bed earlier. And then I go to bed between 9 and 9:30. My life shifts, John. I'm not a real routine person, but I'm really big on rhythms. So my life sways. When there's a lot more schoolwork, I get a lot more schoolwork done. When there is a lot more business stuff, or if I have a brand deal or coming to speak at your school, I'm working on those talks more focused. So, but I'm trying to use most of my day with a level of intentionality. And for productivity's sake, my wife and I do not work from the same room. She works in our room where she has her office. I work in my office, which is in a spare bedroom, which is what we're in now, to help productivity.
We'll talk too much to each other about
and
all
I
kinds
find
of
that
things.
I try and leave school on time, but school spent after my day of teaching, time spent in my classroom, I don't screw around. There's nothing else to take my attention except for just get schoolwork done. So some days I will stay at school later, even though I don't have to be there any longer, to get caught up on stuff, to get grading done, to get grades input, to organize things for the next day, that sort of thing.
It's literally flip-flops between business work and schoolwork. Business work, schoolwork, and then family is we just got done watching Lost. We usually watch a TV show with the kids during dinner, and which spawns a lot of great conversation. But we just finished Lost, which was pretty heavy, and we're sitting at the table, like actually
for the
eating
first time in years.
Yeah, together, and our kids are really loving it because we have great conversations.
But then that doesn't take 48 minutes out of our night every night.
No, it still takes like at least 30.
But you're getting some of that time back. And then I'll say this last thing, John, is that I do a Sabbath every Saturday. Where I'm going to start doing that. I wake up at 5 still on Saturday, doing work until everyone gets up. So maybe like 3 or 4 hours of work in the morning, but then the rest of my day is just doing things that fill me up and spending time with family and stuff like that. And then Sundays are basically a full work day. Like I'll work until tonight, until 8 o'clock after I get off this. So that's that.
Awesome.
Cool.
I think that's good.
If you need anything, please reach out at hello@teachyourclassoff.com. If you're looking for a speaker for your school, if you're looking for help with anything in particular, reach out. If you need anything that you can purchase, go to shopteachyourclassoff.com and you can get all your needs there. As we're building things, we'll announce them this year. But like I said, I'm teaching and it makes it harder for stuff to come up. And if you haven't signed up for, at least take a look at the KnowledgeCon in LA, dude, it is going to be so fun. There's so many good people that are going to be there. It's going to be like a treasure trove of awesomeness in that place. So just to be there in that vibe is going to be fire.
If you can go to it, awesome. If not, hook up with knowledge and see how you can get your school to
pay for
it.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, ready?
Yes.
That's it. Everybody will see you next week. Peace.
Bye.